our topic for today is planning and budgeting for the holidays. I was playing some little holiday music, and it might appear too early, but hey, we are in the process of planning for this wonderful holiday that is coming soon. So why not get in the spirit from today, right? So please let me know. Let me know what you think. Please feel free to use the chat button. If you have any questions at any time in the process, please let me know. Put it in the chat, or please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question, okay? Okay. All right, so meet your coach. Some of you may know me, some of you may not, but my name is Dr. Charity Ezema Onako, as you see on the screen there. And that is me. That's a picture of me. You will continue to see me hopefully every month. And because our goal is to continue to do this every month, so that we can unleash our wealth, right? So I am the founder of WealthyGen Inc. WealthyGen is a nonprofit organization through which we pass on the message of financial literacy and help people, empower people to really live financially well and grow, achieve sustainable growth, and become the best version of themselves in terms of financial well-being and financial stability. So that's the platform we use to empower people not only to make money, but to manage it, save it, and grow it so that they can be prepared at any time for emergencies or anything that might require finances on their part. So I am a certified financial education instructor. So I'm certified to teach financial literacy education. Other than that, I am also, in fact, I am everything finance. I have degrees in economics, finance, accounting, international business. So when it comes to finance, accounting, everything, money and wealth, I think I have what it takes to teach it. So bear with me as we go through this process, okay? And in addition to that, I have over 15 years in corporate finance. And one interesting thing is, I thought if organizations can manage their money, if organizations can take care of their finances, if organizations can hire people from different walks of life just to manage their finances, how much more ourselves? Why can't we do it for ourselves, right? So I have this experience, worked over 15 years, helping organizations manage their books, put their accounts in order. And then I thought, how about us, our individual accounts, if we should put this effort to kind of understand our finances, how money works for us as individuals, as a family, we can do a lot better, right? Organizations don't just say we are making money. Oh, this company is doing well, therefore, let's just leave our finances like that. They continuously monitor their finances. They continuously manage it. They continuously do things that they do so that our finances will continue to do even better. So that's really why I'm bringing all those knowledge, those things we do in the corporate world to our individual personal finances. I've also been teaching finance as an adjunct professor of finance. I teach for graduates and undergraduate students, really all about financial management. So all of those experience and knowledge is really what I bring also to the table to help us kind of take control of our finances. Okay, so that's just all about me. But all of these things, it leaves me as a person, as an individual, as somebody that has finances that she manages, right? On a personal level, as someone that has a family, as someone that really knows what it takes for individuals to take charge of their finances. It is me as that person that will be your coach today, okay? And going forward. Please let me know if you have any questions at any point in time, or if you want to, jump in and say anything, okay? All right, so for today, I really want to know what your why is. Why do you find this topic interesting? Why are you here? What do you want to get out of this session today? Please feel free to talk, or you can put in the chat.
I think this is a time that most people, during the festive season, right? This is the time people spend a lot of money. And we tend to spend a lot of money on things that we haven't planned. And then here comes January, boom, you are broke, right? And I think I was just looking at this workshop or this meeting as one of the tools that can empower or equip people to understand their finances when it comes to budgeting and planning, because we don't want people to be struggling in January, February, just because they spent a lot of money. I think that's just how I'm feeling, and that's how I saw that this is a key tool that we can be here and listen to the expert. How can we do it? What are we getting wrong? Why are we doing this? So I think that's what I can say now.
Thank you very much. In fact, you nailed it. Someone said, I hope to learn how to manage my money as I'm starting a new job next week. Congratulations. Especially since I'm just a teenager, I want to know how to budget and save. Absolutely. That's no better time than now. In fact, if you're starting now, this is the best time, okay? One thing about holiday is there's this spirit that comes in holiday, right? And it's a good spirit. We want to make sure that we are maximizing that spirit and at the same time kind of taking advantage of all we can, so that at the end of the season, we are not only happy about what we did and how we celebrated the season, we are also happy because our finances are in order. So there's no better time to do it than now. Okay, so great why. Why I ask this question, because our why kind of informs what we do. I like to sit back in whatever I do and ask myself, why am I really doing it? That your reasoning is that thing that will motivate you to continue what you're doing. If you do something without a reason, at any point in time, you can say, what, I give up. But if you think back, why was I doing this in the first place? This is my reason for doing that. Reason can be your motivator, and you'll continue to do that. So thank you so much for sharing that. So this is what I think. For a whole year, January through December, we are working, we are struggling, we are doing a whole bunch of things. In fact, this world is a very, very busy world. Whether you have your own business or you're in school or you're working, whatever, it's a very busy world. From morning till evening, we are hustling, right? So this period is what I think is a time for us to really enjoy that well-earned break. It's a break. Yes, we've been hustling from January. In December, we kind of sit back, even though we don't necessarily rest, right? Because there's a whole bunch of activities going on. But at least it's a time for us to put all of those hustling aside and kind of enjoy that well-earned break. Now, it's also a time that we unleash the holiday shopper in us, right? We shop, we are buying gifts, we are buying all of those things for, reasons best known to us, whatever that makes us happy. We are shopping this period. It's actually the best time that people shop. So we want to make sure, my purpose for this session is that while we are enjoying this well-earned break, we want to unleash that holiday shopper in us while keeping an eye on our spending. We are doing all of these things, but we still want to keep an eye on our spending so that we can maximize joy. I highlighted this because it's important, because holiday season is a season of joy. So as we are doing all of these things, we want to maximize this joy and minimize financial stress. This is important. Because just like we said, just like Dr. Washington said, January is a time where we come out and everybody's looking like, oh my God, I'm broke. Oh, I have no money in my savings account. What happened to my money? Because we spent it all on Christmas. And there are bills to be paid in January. If you have to pay your house rent in January or your mortgage, you have to pay it. It's not going to go away because we had a very fantastic Christmas celebration, right? So keeping it in mind that we have bills to pay in January. We have all of these expenses. We have to eat food, right? We have to pay tuition for those that have kids or without going back to school. There are school fees to be paid in January. There's a lot of things coming up in January. And as we jump into all of this holiday season we are spending without being mindful of all of those things, that's where financial stress comes in. So my purpose for this session is that at the end, we want to be able to do all of these things. We want to shop. We want to buy gifts for people. We want to show people that we love them. We want to go for those holiday activities. We want to maximize the joy that comes with this season. At the same time, we want to keep an eye on our shopping, on our spending, on our money as a whole, so that we can minimize financial stress. That is my purpose for you for today. Okay? Any question, comments, thoughts, please let me know. Yes, and please feel free to mute yourself so that others can hear. If you want to speak, then you can unmute, okay? So that is my purpose for you. I want you to take note of your purpose for this session. What do you want to take out of this session? Take note of that, okay? Now, here is our overview, housekeeping stuff, right? This is what you're going to get out of this session. We are going to understand why planning ahead is the secret. Secret to what? Secret to maximizing our joy and secret to minimizing financial stress. We want to understand why planning ahead is the secret to achieving that. If you wait and you don't plan, come holiday, you're spending, please mute yourself. I'm sorry, I'm going to mute you. And when you want to speak, Chitachi, please feel free to unmute yourself, okay? All right, so at the end of this session, I want you to understand, or you will be able to understand why planning ahead is the secret. You don't want to wait until December, until you start spending money, or until after you spent all the money. You now look back and say, oh my God, I have nothing left in January. Planning ahead is the secret for you to spend and be happy, and at the same time, staying away from financial stress. Also, you will be able to identify and prioritize your key holiday expenses. A lot of people don't know how much they need to spend for the holidays. We don't even know how much this holiday season is going to cost us. At the end of this session, you'll be able to identify and prioritize the key holiday expenses so that you know them ahead of time, know how much it's going to cost you ahead of time, okay? Then you should be able to master the art of gift-giving planning. Holiday is all about gifts, all right? But you have to plan ahead. How do you plan for your gift? We are going to talk about it today. And then manage non-gift expenses. Some people just forget about non-gift expenses, and they just focus on the gift. I'm buying this gift for kids. I'm buying this for my friends. I'm buying this for my family members. Once they have all the gifts together, they think they are ready for the holidays. You want to be able to plan and manage those non-gift expenses. Then once you have all of these things, you set a realistic holiday budget. Now, a lot of people create budgets, and they don't follow it. The reason is because the budget is not realistic. They've not set the budget that they can achieve. And we are going to talk about how we can do that, okay? And then we are going to leverage technology for planning and budgeting. Technology makes a lot of things easy these days. So we are going to do it the hard way, and then we are also going to see how efficient or why technology makes it a lot easier for us to do. So these are the things we are going to learn today. Questions or comments, please feel free to put in the chat. And if you want to speak at any point in time, please unmute yourself and speak. I want this to be conversational, right? I want it to be not just me speaking, because when we share ideas, we are learning. I'm also going to learn from you, and others can learn from you as well. Okay, so feel free to speak at any point in time, okay? Now, I'm going to scream, but not just going to, but if you look on the left, you will see that there's only 50 shopping days to Christmas. Have you ever calculated that? It's only 50 shopping days till Christmas. So now is still a good time to plan ahead. So we are taking our first what do I call it? Objective for us to understand why planning ahead is the secret. From now to the next 50 days, we want to see what we can do. We want to plan so that before the 24th of December, we know that we've done everything that we have to do. So planning ahead is the secret from now so that we can have a very joyous holiday and at the same time minimizing financial stress. Now, let me share you something interesting. A study by Elevest, a survey in 2021 shows that 38% of women face holiday spending stress. People face stress because maybe they didn't plan ahead of time. If 38% of women, maybe women that have families and all of that, children, and even young women, if 38% of women face holiday spending stress, then now is the time for us to plan ahead so that we can minimize the stress. So we are not among those 38% that go through financial stress just because of holiday. All right. So this is a reason why planning ahead is the secret. Now, another study by Deloitte in 2020, this is very recent, shows that 72% of consumers expect higher prices. And because they expect higher prices, they plan to navigate inflation by budgeting for fewer gifts. This is recent, and as you all know, across the world, inflation is really high these days. Prices of things, some have doubled, some quadrupled, and some just, what you bought last year, if you go back to buy that same thing, you will definitely not buy at the same price. That's what inflation has done for us. And for some of us, our income has not increased. Of course, some people income increased, building in cost of living adjustments and all of that. But sometimes it does not equate to the actual inflation rate. So if majority of consumers are expecting higher prices, how are they trying to overcome this? They're planning to buy or budget for fewer gifts. And we're going to talk about how you can actually make it work. Without, even if you don't necessarily give fewer gifts, you might achieve the same thing, but at a lower cost. So this is why it is important to plan. If prices of things are higher, don't just jump into the market and start buying things. At the end of the day, you might end up spending all your money on gifts and you have nothing for food. You have nothing for other things that are not gifts. So if you plan ahead, you'll see, okay, I'm putting aside this amount of money for this particular thing, and you'll stick to it because you've tallied it up and you've seen how much you have, and then you see how much you're going to spend. If you do anything outside that, you're going to put yourself in red. That's why planning ahead is the secret. Now, here's another thing. This is by the same Deloitte in 2023. Shoppers will spend 1/3 of their budget in the last 2 weeks of November, with 78% actively shopping during that period. So if people are going to spend 1/3 of their budget in the last 2 weeks of November, then now is the time. This is first week of November. I placed this, scheduled this meeting strategically such that we are just entering November. We have the whole 3 weeks plus ahead of us in November for us to put our plan in place before we start shopping. If you are going to start shopping in the second week of November or the third week, now is the time for you to put your budget in place. Trust me, if you have a budget in place before you start spending, it makes your life a lot easier. And you know exactly how you are going to end your year. That's planning ahead. That's what makes you an informed consumer. Okay? And then 78% are actively shopping during that period. When do you plan to start your holiday shopping? Have you already started shopping? Now is the time to plan. If you've not already started shopping, don't wait until the second week of December when things are already gone, when the things you are looking, varieties of things are all gone. Now is the time. In fact, I encourage you all to start within the next week. Once you prepare your budget, the list of things you are going to buy, start shopping for them now, because this is when you see varieties. This is when you can compare prices. This is when you can see things that are really good and may not cost as much. Because if you wait until the end, some good priced items may already have been bought by other people, and you are just buying whatever you see out there. Those are likely going to be more expensive, and they may not even be what you really want to get. So my goal for you today is, let this session be a kind of a motivator for you. Don't just take it, learn it, and put it away. I want you to take notes. I want you to start taking action from today, okay? Start whatever you're doing, plan your holiday and start shopping ahead of time. So this is why planning ahead is the secret. Please start today. There's only 50 more days, 50 shopping days left. Don't wait until you are 10 days or 5 days away before you start shopping. All right. All right. So our next item here is key holiday expenses. What are your key holiday expenses? I'm just going to highlight them. You want to be able to identify your key holiday expenses. You have to make a list for the gifts. So holiday is all about gifts, right? Who are you going to give gifts to? The best way to do that is to write names. If you can't think of anybody, you probably may not, don't have it in your mind to give gift to the person. Those people you plan to give gifts, write their names down. Actually, if you look in the chat, there's a link in the chat for you to download our free budget worksheet. I will share that in a moment. But you can use this time to download it. Save it. It's editable. You can type on it. Save it on your phone, or if you want to print it out, that's fine. But for you to type on it, you have to save it somewhere on your phone, then open it. Then it becomes editable for you. I'll show you that in a moment. But you can use that worksheet to make a list for gifts, all the people you want to give gifts to. Tips, everyone you want to give tips to, make a list and put how much you want to give them. Then don't forget your non-gift expenses. Holiday spending is not just all about gifts. There are non-gift expenses that you need to buy, and we'll go over those ones in a moment. And then don't forget clothing, cosmetics, and grooming, because these are little things we might forget. People want to look good. If you're going to go out for activities, for events, holiday is a time where people buy new clothes, new shoes, all of those kind of things. Put them in your budget. Don't just go out there and buy them. Put them in your budget and assign how much you want to spend on each category. If you're buying for your kids, for yourself, and all of those, put them in your budget and assign an amount to it so that when you go out there to shop, you are buying what you have in your budget. And then this is the very important one for yourself. People always, especially mothers, fathers, or even other people, right? You tend to plan, I'm going to give gifts to this person. You have a whole list of people you want to give gifts to, and then you forget yourself. Hey, you worked hard, okay? You work hard from January through December. You need to give yourself a gift, whatever it is, but in fact, yourself should be number one in your list. Start with yourself. Because self-love translates to, you can't give love that you don't have for yourself. So love yourself, give yourself a good gift, and then you can pass on other gifts to other people. So yes, please plan for yourself. Don't forget about yourself, okay? Now, master the art of gift planning. Gift planning, the art of gift planning. So this is really important. Gift doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't really have to be expensive. So my goal is that your goal, let me put it, this is your goal, not necessarily my goal, but I'm going to help you achieve that goal through this session, is to surprise your loved ones with personalized presents that reflect their unique personality and interests and leave a lasting impression without breaking the bank. That is what you want to achieve with your gift. It doesn't, not necessarily how much you paid for the gift, but give them a gift that represents their unique personality and interest, and that will leave a lasting impression without breaking the bank. Now, the first thing you want to do is to create a comprehensive gift list. Who are those people you want to give gifts to? Write their names down, okay? And then what you want to give them. And this is where whoever you want to give a gift, sit back and say, what are their passions? What are their hobbies? Their preferences? If you understand these things, you can now create a gift that will be cherished forever. Sometimes you give people gifts, they don't really like it because they're not interested in the kind of gift you give them. It's like somebody that, I'm going to give an example, that doesn't like baseball, and you just buy them, baseball kit items and all that. They will just take it and drop it there because they're not into that. You probably spent a lot of money buying that gift, but it's not really what they like. So spend your time. This is where the power of thoughtful research comes in. Spend some time and research the person that you are going to give the gift to. What gifts are most appreciated? Material gifts or edible gifts, especially for people in Nigeria? I love that. So it depends, okay? Depending on the person you are giving the gift to. First of all, find out about that person. What do they like? If you find out about what they liked, then you get them something that you know that they like. Sometimes it doesn't really have to be money. Okay, so here's my next point. It says, be creative. Consider handmade and heartfelt presents that won't break the bank. How can you find out about what they like? It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be something you go to the market and buy. It can be something you can make yourself. Research the person. If it's your child, example, you know your children, know what they like. If it's a friend, find out what they like. Sometimes you can use other people that are close to them to find out the kind of things they appreciate the most. You can find out what their interests are from conversations. You can even use social media to research people. Like sometimes people give hints in their postings, the kind of things they wear. You can actually find out the kind of brands they like. The kind of, if you want to buy material things, what kind of clothes do they like? What kind of thing, depending on what you want to buy. You can see through people, sometimes through social media. Or you can have people check on them without them knowing. But the goal is for you to put some effort in researching those people and find out what their interests are. Then you can get that something for them. Now, it doesn't really have to be, I'm going to give you an example. If you want to give gift, you can do what they call group giving. If you have a family friend, your friends, your family and their families are good, they have kids and all that. If you're a baker and you bake really good, you can bake cookies. Or if your family loves cookies, you can bake cookies. If they love cakes, you can bake cakes. You can do things that you can do on your own that will not necessarily cost you so much. Sometimes it can be you tapping into your human network. If I know that this person needs, I'm going to give you an example. A friend came to me and said that her friend doesn't know anything about money. She makes a lot of money, but she just spends it anyhow. And at the end of the day, she's crying because she can't even meet her emergencies. But the way she sits back to look at how much she makes a lot of money. She came to me and said, I want to arrange a time for you to speak to my friend. So because I'm very close to her, I don't really know her friend, but she made that contact with me and said, help this my friend achieve this. And with that, she's giving that friend a gift that may not necessarily cost her money, but she's tapping into her connection with me to give her friend a gift of financial empowerment. So sometimes it might be a coach, a mentor that you can link somebody up to. It could be a business connection. Hey, for your gift this holiday, I want you to meet this person. This person will help you do this and this and that. Okay, so sometimes it's not that it can be a ticket to a spa. Maybe you got a movie ticket. You know that this person loves this kind of movies. Or it could be a concert ticket. You can offer it to the person. You can take the person, okay, you love spa so much, I have a spa ticket for you. So sometimes it's really not about money. You can give something that is very creative that will not really break the bank. Any other questions? All right, so let me know what you think, your thoughts, and then we can go from there, okay? What are other gift planning strategies that you recommend? Please feel free to share. Now, one thing else I like to put in here is that sometimes you can re-gift, but thoughtfully. You might get a gift. Someone might give you a gift that you don't really use, you don't really like. It's not your thing, but it's a very nice gift from the person's heart. The person meant all the good things for giving you that gift. Instead of you to skip it there and sit there and not appreciative of the person that gave it, because for somebody to be thoughtful of you and give you a gift, that person definitely came from the heart. You can find another person, I don't like concerts, and I have this concert ticket from this person. I know another person that can really use this and love it so much. You can re-gift it to the person. That's a way you can plan your gift giving. So please research the person, give them a personalized present that will really reflect who they are. And those will make a lasting impression and without you breaking your bank. That should be your focus for this holiday. All right. So go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I think we are learning a lot here. This is very, very important. I really like the point of calculating our tips. I think that's something that personally I've never done. And I'm looking back, just reflecting how much have I spent in just, giving those tips. I think that's a lot of money if I calculate well. And the other thing is I never thought of is the non-expensive gifts. So like non-expense or gifts that we don't have even to buy, right? I've never thought about that. I thought all the time what we have to do is if we're talking about gift, we need to go to the shop and buy those gifts. Now, I'm interested to understand if a research has been done why people buy expensive gifts to give to their loved ones. Because if we find the root cause, if we find the reason why people do that, and then we tackle that, I think it will help us a lot to know that, okay, it's not about buying expensive gifts. It's about, surprising our loved ones with those personalized presents, right? But why do we buy the expensive gifts?
I think, but that's a very interesting research topic, and trust me, I'm going to dive into it. That really makes a perfect sense to understand. And just from my layman understanding, I think because people generally assign value, it depends on how we assign value to things. Sometimes when we see expensive things, we tend to like it more. We tend to believe that, oh, this is the best because it's expensive. And sometimes it may not really solve our immediate problem. It may not really be the best of the best. But if you cannot sit back and think through gifts that that adds value, makes greatest impact on the people, it really will be what they cherish the most. I'm going to give you a simple story. I did my undergraduate studies in Nigeria in economics, and I had this professor that taught us in international economics. And this person really, each time he came into our class, he had this booklets on sustainable development goals and all these SDGs. That time it was Millennium Development Goals, and he had these pamphlets, and that's all he comes to class with. And we were like, does this man not have a textbook, or he doesn't give us notes? He just has those kind of pamphlets. And we just see it and we go. So when I came here, I had opportunity to visit. There was a program they had in World Bank for African development and all that. There were a lot of publications, and this man had helped me when I was, trying to get my transcripts and all of that. And when I saw different publications, then I knew that he was going to love them. But things that he did not have access. He had some of them, but I saw a lot of publications that he would love, and I packed them. It didn't cost me money. I had access to them because I was opportune to be in a place where those publications were easily gotten. So I got them and I sent it to the man. He was so much appreciated. In fact, the response from him was amazing. It didn't cost me a dime to get. But because this is what he loved, he's an international economist, he loves all this, any publication about that, he embraces it with all his heart. And that is going to inform his career as a professor in teaching other students. So things like that didn't cost me anything. In fact, the way he was appreciated, I'm like, what did I do that this professor is thanking me so much like this? Because to him, it may cost him a fortune to get these publications. I don't know how he accessed them in the past, but the fact that he had access to all of these publications at no cost to him meant a lot to him. To me, it cost me nothing. It's just one of those publications I can easily grab wherever I get. So sometimes it's really not about how much you spend on something. It's you understanding the person you're giving the gift to and what will be most meaningful to them. Okay, so that's a very interesting research topic. I'm going to look into it and see what I find. Any other comments, questions? All right, so our next item here is the non-gift expenses. So for the holidays, people focus on gifts. I'm giving this to people, but there are things we spend money on in the holidays that are not gifts. You also want to make a list for these costs. Your travel. Holiday is all about travel. If you're going to enter flights from one place to the other, or if you're just going to be driving with your car, If you're going to buy gas, it's a whole lot of travel going on during the holidays. If you're going to travel, make budget for your travel. How much is it going to cost you to travel for the holiday period? What about the food? Holiday is all about food, right? Food and drinks. Budget for them. Okay, is there going to be a lot of cooking going on for the women here, right? For your families, as an individual, how much is it? Or if you eat out, you don't have to do the cooking yourself. If you're going to go to restaurants, how much are these things going to cost you? Just an estimate, a close estimate, and then you can monitor to see how close you get to your target. This kind of give you a guide, right? Decorations, there are Christmas trees, you decorate with your lightnings and all ornaments, all of that. Make a budget for them. Don't forget them. Then home supplies. If you're going to buy candles, if you're going to buy plates, kitchen utensils, anything, if you're going to change, there are a lot of little supplies we buy for the holidays, right? To make our home really what we want it to be. Whatever those home supplies are for you, put a price to it, put an amount to it. How much am I going to spend for this category? And then here comes the clothing, grooming, cosmetics. You got to get your haircut. You're going to get your clothing, right? Any clothing, cosmetics, whatever it is in terms of your clothing, grooming, cosmetics, budget for them. Don't just go out there and start shopping. At the end of the day, you might just put yourself into financial stress if you do not plan this ahead of time. Then holiday activities. This is one of the things that people forget the most. And it's one of the things that always happen during the holidays. There's a lot of activities. There are concerts, there are games, there are movies, events. All of those activities that happen during the holidays, plan for them. And then, of course, always give room for emergencies, contingencies, right? I won't say emergencies, but contingencies. In fact, there's no organization that plans, that prepares their budget without having a room for contingency, because there are things that might just come up without you knowing. You might think I got all my T's crossed and all my I's dotted, but there are things that just come up that you didn't plan. Get a specific amount of money and say, okay, I'm going to leave this amount of money just in case, if there's anything that just comes up, if there's anything I forget to include in my budget. So plan for those things, okay? So make a list of those things. If there's anything else, let me just say, what else that is non-gift that we are missing on this list? Because sometimes people don't know. As we talk about this, you're thinking, oh, yes, I'm going to spend this during the holidays, right? So let me know, unmute yourself and speak, or you can put in the chat, what are we missing here that doesn't fall into this category? Because the idea is for us to budget in such a way that we create budget that we can achieve, right? We create a budget that doesn't surprise us. Is there anything we are missing on this list that we think that is holiday expenses? If there is, please put in the chat. Now, this is the time for us to set a realistic holiday budget, okay? If you look in the chat, there is a link to our free budget worksheet. I'm going to pull it up for us to see. Even if you download it later, that's fine. But the idea is for us to give us something that we can write with. Now, one thing about budgeting is that you have to write it down. Okay, I know we are smart. I know our brain is working, but don't assume I have everything in my head, because you're going to forget a lot of things. And when you write something down, it makes you accountable. You have something you can reference. You can go back and check, okay, so how much did I plan for this? You see it there. So create a budget you can stick to. Write your list down and assign an amount to each item on your list. Remember the total income you expect for the holiday period, okay? So for each holiday, from this time to this time, how much am I looking to get? How much am I looking to earn? And then if sometimes, although that we are starting this now in November, but as from January, that's when we talk about goal setting. So keep a date with us in January. We are going to really talk about goal setting. That is the time for you to plan for the next holiday and start saving money towards it. So if you started saving money towards this holiday, that's something you have available to spend. So don't forget those savings, in addition to the income you're expecting to get to receive in December or in November, depending on when you're budgeting for that. Those are the amount of money that you plan in your budget. So let's click on here. Let me see. That the link to this budget worksheet is in the chat, but you can download it later on. But this is what the holiday budget worksheet looks like. Now you can reuse this, every month. The only difference is that you only so on the green area, the green sections is just for the holiday. You have the gift list and then the non-gift holiday expenses. But there are other things, other expenses that you normally would have in November and December, like your regular fixed expenses, your rent and all of that, and then your regular variable expenses. You have to eat every day. You have to pay your bills in November and in December, whether it is holiday or not. Those expenses are still going to come. So, but this is really focused on holiday because we built in some holiday costs into it. So this is November. Assuming we are starting to budget for Christmas in November. Now think about what are the expenses the costs I'm gonna incur in November, and then think about which ones am I going to incur in December, because you're still going to spend in December. So for this November, you are putting only the gifts that you plan to buy in November. You can put them all in November, right? But if you're making your November and December budget, you can also split them if you want, or you can put all your gifts in November if you plan to buy all the gifts in November, okay? So be flexible as you use this. Now, like I said, you can type on this if you saved it. If you download it and save it, you can type on it even on your phone. So here is my income, right? How much am I going to make in November? Let's just say from salaries, I'm going to make, let me just make this lowercase. Let's just say I'm going to make budget, for the sake of it, depending on where you are and your currency, I'm just going to say 3,000, okay, for the sake of it. We are going to ignore these actuals today, because actuals is when you start tracking your budget. But today we are really talking about budget. Next month, we are going to talk about spending and tracking. So we are going to focus on that. But for today, we are just going to say budget, okay? If I plan to receive 3,000 from salaries, I'm going to put in there. Now, if you receive just salaries, you can stop here. But if there's any other kind of income that you receive, let's just say you have a business or you have a side hustle, you can say, for my side hustle, I'm just going to get another 500. Okay? So in total, I'm going to get 3,500. This is what I plan to get in my income, right? Depending, or if you think it's too small, whatever, say, this is where you become as realistic as possible. How much do you plan to receive in salaries, okay? Or side hustle or business, whatever you do, you type what it is here and you say the amount you're expecting, okay? Now, this is where you budget for the gifts. This is pre-filled here as self, because yourself, the gift to yourself is number one. Plan as much as possible to put yourself first, even if it's tiny something. And for yourself, you can just say, I need, whatever, let's just say a wristwatch, whatever you want to give yourself. And how much are you going to budget for that? How much do you want to budget for a wristwatch? Let's just say 200 or 150 for the sake of it. And then whoever you want to budget for, whoever you want to give gift, write their name, okay? Whatever it is, whatever you want to give them, you can just say, Candy, let's just say $20 for the sake of it. Whatever it is that you want, put it there. Put yourself first. Yes, nice one. You are going to be the first. Then others can follow. So we are going to stop on this, but please make a list of whoever you want to give gifts to and indicate what you want to give them and put an amount to it. It is important so that when you go shopping, you have something to work with, okay? Now, if you move away from this gift, okay, the total here is 170. Let's put our total here, 170. This is how much I'm planning for the gift. But, this is just an example. You have a whole page to write whatever you want to give whoever you want to give and how much you want to give them. Now, this is the, yes, go ahead. Okay, I thought someone was trying to say something. All right. So the non-gift expenses, how much are you going to spend on travel? Okay. I'm just going to say, I'm putting any amounts here randomly. Food, how much are you going to spend on food? On drinks? Okay. Put an amount to them. Decoration, let's just say 100. Home supplies, how much are you going to put on here? Okay. For all of these, sometimes they don't apply. If they don't apply to you, leave them blank. Okay. If none of these things applies to you, just leave them blank. And let's just say our total here is 500, 6, 7, 8, 1,000, okay? Our total here is 1,000. And then your regular fixed expense. This is November. If you got to pay rent in November, you got to pay rent in November. If you got to, let's just say your rent is 1,000. Hey, for the sake of it, I think our income is done. So whatever you have to spend, your regular fixed expenses are those expenses that are fixed. It doesn't matter what happens. That is how much you pay every month. If your rent is 1,000, it is 1,000. If you're paying for electricity 200, it is 200. Fixed expenses don't change. You cannot run away from it, okay? Assuming you have electricity, and as a fixed amount, some people is variable. If your electricity bill changes from month to month, don't add in here. This is for those, okay, let's just say internet. Internet might be fixed. If it is fixed, then put in here. If it changes every month, then it doesn't belong here. And for your fixed expenses, it is 1,500. I'm sorry, 1,050. Okay. Now, the next phase is your regular variable expenses. If you're, I'm just going to use electricity here, anything at all that you spend money on that changes from month to month, but you must spend it in that month, this is where you budget for it. Let's just say $100 here. Then you can add any of your regular variable expenses, okay? Now, in total, you might have 100, okay? So far, you've come close to what looks like your budget, okay? Remember, this is just an example. You can personalize it and make it to be as realistic as possible for you, so that you don't miss anything. Now, total income you expect for this month is 3,500. You come here in the summary section and put 3,500 as your total income. Now, if I have been saving money over the past few months for my holiday, and I ended up saving 3,000 for the holiday, I'm going to put it here because it's not new money. I already have this money. My total funds are available would be 7,500. Now, my total budget, let's go back and see how much our total budget is. We have 170, 1,170, and 2,000, 2,220, 2,320, 2,320. So this is how much we are budgeting for the period. And, remember, this budget is just for example, right? But the goal here is that you have your total income and your holiday savings if you have any. Some people may not have any holiday savings, okay? So that their total funds available will be 3,500. And their total budget might be 2,320. Sometimes your total budget might be what? 3,000 to, I'm sorry, let's call it this. Maybe 3,820 might be your total budget. And if you look here and see that your total funds is short, guess what? You have to go back and reduce this. Keep in mind, you are not going to touch your fixed expenses because this is what it is. You have to pay your rent. You have to pay your internet. You have to pay any other fixed expenses you have. What do? You come back to your variable expenses and adjust. You go back to your gift or your holiday plans because this you can adjust. You can say, you know what? I'm not going to spend 150 on clothing. I'm just going to do 100 on clothing. Decorations, I'm just going to take it down to 80 because these are variable. These you are very flexible. You can adjust these ones. So whatever your bottom line is, you can go back and adjust. I'm going to pause here to see if anybody has any questions or comments. All right, so if there be none, we're going to move on to the next, but please let me know if you find this useful, if it's something that you can easily do. Please feel free to download this and use it if you do not already have something to work with, okay? But the key is that you always have something to write down on. Have something that you can write down with. Don't just rely on your head. You always have to write down your budget. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to our budget. I'm sorry, our screen here, slide. Now, the other thing I like for us to talk about is to utilize technology. Okay, technology makes things easy. Now, that worksheet is amazing. If you have a notebook, it's amazing, right? It helps you, at least you have something you're writing on. But what if you lose that worksheet? And what if you just type it? You're not going to be carrying that paper around, or you have it on your phone, right? It's good. But what if I want to go back next year? If I want next year, I want to see how much did I spend on my gift. I have to go back and start looking for my last year's budget, right? Or what if, see all these calculations I'm doing, I have to go back and add this, then and pull up my calculator and punch them. Technology makes all of these things easy, and it gives you a very nice report, okay? Technology can streamline the process and make it more efficient. Now, if I want to create a budget for gifts, what technology will do is, but technology will show me and say, oh, let's say you budgeted for 500, you spent 400. So because I'm budgeting for a gift this year, technology will tell me, oh, you spent 400 last year. Then I will say, okay, maybe I can spend another 400. I can just reduce it or increase it. But it kind of gives you that idea. You can use it for planning, budgeting, tracking income and expenses, right? Technology makes it easy for you to track income and expenses. Makes it more efficient. And technology can calculate your remaining budget, right? If you are using manual Excel and all of these worksheets, you just have to do calculation yourself. You always have to go back, okay, this is my budget, this is how much actuals I have, and this is how much that is remaining. Okay? So technology makes it a lot easier for you to calculate your remaining budget, all right? Now, technology helps to reduce errors. With calculation, you can make mistakes, but with technology, it streamlines the process. It's mostly error-free. If there's going to be error, it's just going to be a fraction of it. Maybe 5% margin of error, but technology helps you reduce errors. And then another cool thing about technology is that it provides real-time updates. You are looking, you want to shop, you're tapping on your technology and you're seeing, okay, this is how much I budgeted for, instead of looking to see, okay. So it makes it a lot easier. It gives you real-time updates. As you're adding, it's subtracting, it's doing all of that for you. That's the power of technology, okay? Then technology allows for quicker decision-making. You can easily look at where you are and you make decisions quickly. But if you're relying on those manual calculations and all that, it takes a while for you to really say, okay, this is what I'm looking at. This is how I want to do it. So by all means, download the free budget worksheet. But at the same time, think about how technology can make this a lot easier for you. Sometimes people don't budget because they said it's a hassle. It's a lot of work to budget. It's a lot of work to always add in and subtract. Nobody has time for that. But if you make time for your finances, trust me, it's gonna pay off. So make time for that, and at the same time, if there's something available out there for you to make it more efficient for you, please take advantage of that. Okay. So whatever that works for you, please do. And then technology provides historical report for you. You're not just looking at a worksheet today and then looking for, okay, where did I save the worksheet for last year? And then I'm looking. But technology pulls it all together in one place. You can always go back and say, okay, this is how much I did last year, last 2 years, in the next 10 years or last 10 years, as far back as you can go. Technology makes it easy for you. All right, so by all means, take advantage of technology. And then technology is on the go. It has the ability for you to just carry with you on the go, right? So what it means is you can make financial decisions. You can access your financial information anytime, anywhere. You'll have it with you. You can make decisions. You can see reports very easily. You don't have to put calculator to start punching things. Okay, you are in the shopping line, you're trying to check out line, you can just open your app or whatever it is, and you make a decision right away. Okay, am I buying this or not? You look at your budget and say, okay, my budget is almost done. You know what? I'm going to drop one out. Instead of 3, I'm going to take 2 and drop 1. So it helps you anytime, anywhere, on the go. It makes the process more efficient and allows for quicker decision making. Any question on that, on why technology is important? Please feel free to let me know, to ask your questions. Now, we talked about technology, and this is an opportunity for me to introduce to you. I know a lot of you already know, but this is one of the technologies. So there are so many technologies out there, so many ones that suits you. There's so many ones, depending on what you prefer, right? So this is just one of them that we created on WealthyGen. It's called WealthyGen app, and we say, manage your money like a pro with WealthyGen app. When you start using this, you manage your money like a pro, okay? So it's an app that you can use for basically anything. We call it an all-in-one money management tool, and it puts you in control of your finances, meaning you can use it for smart budgeting. The template we shared is good. It covers everything basically you need, but technology is even better, right? The smart budgeting feature here helps you to budget as if when you budget, it remembers what you did last and then tells you, okay, this is how much you spent last on this category. And then you can make your decision there. It is the ultimate money tracker. You can use it to track as you have your budget, as you're spending, as long as you're updating your spending, it's tracking it for you. So that next time you open back, it's going to say, oh, your budget, you budgeted for 500, you've spent 400, you have 100 left. So that keeps you in check. And so that anytime you can always go back and see how did I perform? How much did I budget? And how much have I spent in my budget? And it helps you monitor and grow your net worth. And one thing about net worth is that net worth is a state at any point in time. So as you're spending and earning income, you're spending money or earning income, your net worth is changing. As you're doing all of that, it is recalculating itself. So the WealthyGen app kind of helps you, it tracks it for you. As it's changing, it's tracking it. So at any point in time when you tap on that app, you're seeing it. You are seeing the most up-to-date value of your net worth. And not only that, it shows you what your net worth should be. So it's not just saying your net worth is this. It's telling you your net worth is this, and this is what it should be. And then this app helps you commit to your financial goals. Now, just like we talked about that in January, we're really going to talk about goal setting, right? But January is when we started all afresh. We are starting the new year. What do we want to achieve this new year? What are the goals we have for ourselves? You can set those goals in the app. And then as you track those goals, you are seeing where you stand. You can, in January, set goals for the holidays and say, I'm going to spend this much for next holiday. And this is a good time for us to start thinking about it. As you create your budget for this holiday, you will see how much you've spent. If you spent, say, 5,000 for this holiday, then next holiday you say, okay, if I spend 5,000 this holiday, is it going to cost me more or less next year? You know what? Maybe I will add 500 on top of it. Excuse me. For inflation or that, or maybe 6,000. Then you set that as your goal to save 6,000 for the next holiday. And then you continue to save towards that. So that come December, you don't even if you make income or not, you already have money planned for your holiday. So the app helps you to do that. Okay. So now what I can do now is to show you what the app looks like. This is what's going to look, the picture you see on the left is what it's going to look like on the app stores. It's available on the iOS app store. It's also available on the Google Play Store. This is what it looks like with slight difference. This is from iOS, Apple. It looks slightly different, but same image, same picture. It just laid out slightly different on the Google Play Store. So, but this is what you expect to see when you go there. Feel free to check it out. I might, let me see. Just search WealthyGen WealthyGen, you would see there. And this is going to say WealthyGen Money and Budget app, track finances and net worth. That's no two logos like that. This is what you're going to see once you get there. All right. So what I want to do, if you allow me, is to kind of share a little bit, show you budgeting features on WealthyGen, just less than just a few minutes. That way you can see what it's going to look like when you budget in the WealthyGen app. Okay. Let me see if I can share. Let me stop sharing this, and then I'll share that quickly. Where's the share button? Okay. Let's do this. It's coming. That's what technology can do for us. We can do a whole bunch of things with it. Okay. So this is, you know what, let me see. Can you all see my screen, my phone screen?
Yes, we can see it. Say
okay.
Hi, Lucy.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, that is the home screen. That's the home screen for WealthyGen app. Okay. This is the dashboard, what you see. And if you scroll up and down, I don't have any budgets yet for November. So that's why my budget screen is kind of blank. I'm just going to add a few now so you see. Now, what you see here is really showing you everything that you can do with the app. Now, you have a security feature here on the net worth. You can open it and close it. So Lucy's net worth is really 479. She can close it if she wants, doesn't want anybody to see. Here is what I have and what I owe. We're going to see those in a minute. What I have is really Lucy's assets. What I owe is Lucy's liabilities. Savings goals, these are the goals that Lucy is working on. And we're going to see that in a moment. Total income, there's no income for November yet. There's no income for, no expenses for November yet. And if she has budget, she will see the summary here. Okay. Let me just quickly show you on my net worth. I'll tap on what I have. So Lucy's net worth, as we saw before, is 479. And this is her target net worth. This is telling her that your net worth currently is 479, but your net worth should really be 916. This is her target. This is what she should work towards getting. Her goal is to get to this net worth and exceed it. So the app calculates this based on her information, her average income and all of that, and the country that she lives in, and tells her, okay, if you're saving 20% of your average income, depending on how long you've worked, this is what your target net worth should be. So now Lucy knows, you know what? I need to work on my assets. I need to work on increasing my assets so that I can get my net worth to be to this target. And if you tap on here, it shows you details about how target net worth is calculated. So you can read it up on your own. That way you know what this number really means. Now, what I have, Lucy can see that her cash on hand is this amount, savings goal is this amount, fixed deposit, whatever assets she has. And look here, if she taps on her stocks, she will see that she has all these stocks list and their values, okay? And she can update their value at any time. She can buy, sell, update, whatever she wants to do. And same thing with this. And then her bank accounts, this bank account, you can tap on the drop down. It's going to show you the banks that she has and the balances of each one.
I'll do it.
Does anybody want to say anything? Okay, I'll just put you on mute for a moment, please. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to speak. Okay, so yeah.
Let me ask. Yes. If you go back to the stocks, I see
the
that.
Stocks. Okay, let me see. Right here.
Investment, I think. Yeah. So the stocks, I do see that you've got options to buy, sell. I think you clicked on something like that.
Yeah, the little dot in here. Yeah.
So you can buy, sell, or update. Now, does this mean that from the app directly, you can do this?
No. So here's the thing. You can technically buy. So assuming that I want to buy a new stock, a new net. Okay, so here's the thing. This is where you track your activities. If I buy in real life, if I buy, let's say IBM stocks for 500, I can come here. There are two ways to do it. I can come from IBM here and buy. It's just going to ask me how much did I spend on IBM. Let's just say I bought 500 worth. What date? Maybe yesterday or today, whatever date. How did I pay for it? I'm going to say I paid it from my Citibank account. And then description, if it's optional. Attaching file is optional. You don't really have to do that. Then you submit. What happens is my stocks value updated. And if I tap on this and go to my IBM, it increased to 2,400. And if I go to my expenses, expense management, and go here, I will see that I bought stocks. I bought IBM 500 for this month. These are the ones I bought for this month. The idea is for you it helps you to track, not that you actually buy it from the app, but it helps you track. And the essence is because your cash account reduced now. Because I bought it from my Citibank account, the balance on my Citibank account reduced by 500, but my stocks increased. This is another place you can do that from. The big plus sign, if I tap on the big plus sign, you can add income, add expense, add liability, buy assets, or add account. Add account is really, it's if you are starting the app newly, you're telling the app, these are the accounts I have. I have 500 worth of stock on here. I have this bank in the same Bank of America. This is the balance. You're not connecting them, but you're just telling the app, this is how much I have today. So that as you start adding your income and expenses, it updates in real time, okay? So this big plus sign, it's really a go-to place, right, for you. So this is the home menu. This is activities. If you want to see your recent activities, see the new stock, the stocks we bought now, and then savings goals and all that. Then this is the big plus. And this is where you navigate to see the modules. And from here, excuse me, we can go to my budget, okay? Savings goals, when you're setting goals for yourself, you go from here. If you want to manage your expenses, manage your income, go back to your net worth. These are the modules of what the things you can do with the app, okay? Now, let's go to my budget so we can actually see how we can budget with this app. If I go to my budget, you actually see that I don't have any budget for November, right? We are starting November, and today is November 4th. I don't have any budget, but what if I want to see my budget for last month or even September? This calendar here, I can tap on it, and let's just go to September 2023. You will see that I budgeted for 5,000. I received 5,000 because actual income is 5,500. I got more than I budgeted. Maybe I got a bonus, right? And on your income management, you can actually see breakdown of what details of the income you have, right? But I can see here that I met my budget. My actual budget was 5,000. My budget was 5,000. My actual income was 5,500. So I closed my loop, really. And then on my expenses, I budgeted to, or Lucy really budgeted to spend 3,150, but she spent 2,400. She did good. She had 750 remaining from her budget. Okay. Now, how did she spend her money? She spent it on housing, utilities, shopping, investment. And if she wants to see what kind of expenses did I have on, let's say, shopping, she'll tap on this little arrow here, and she'll see that she spent it on groceries. And for her groceries, she budgeted 350. 350 here. She spent 200, 250. So she has 100 remaining. Okay.
Yeah.
Please mute yourself. So she budgeted 350. She spent 350. She spent 250. She has 100 left. She can go back and look at her housing. She paid rent. Okay. Then this is how she can go back and look at, let's say, utilities. For utilities, she had electricity and phone. Okay. And she had saved some money on electricity because she budgeted 400. I'm sorry, she budgeted 300. She spent 250. So that's it. So it depends on what you want to achieve, right? So let's actually go back and create our budget, because this is just us looking at historical, what we had in September, right? If you want to budget for November, this plus sign here is just a quick way for you to go. You don't have to go back to the budget, my budget and all that, right? Even though this is in September, you can put it back to November. You don't have to. You can, from this plus sign here, just add your budget, okay? If you click on it, this is the current month, November. I can tap on next. And this is income. How much am I expecting on income this month? Whether it's salaries or you have a business. For my business people, we have small business income, we have side hustle income. We also have rental income, interest, royalties, dividends, bonuses, capital gains, even gifts. If you're expecting gifts from people, this is when in monetary or an income, right? Monetary terms, this is where you add it. But for the sake of this, let's just do salaries, okay? And then once you do add salaries, guess what happens? It shows in here that in October, you received a salary of what? 5,000. Let's change it to bonuses. If we change it to bonuses, it tells us we got no bonuses last month. It just gives you historical information to work with. Because sometimes you'll be like, oh, how much did I spend on this last month? When you're ready to budget, it gives you that figure. And that's the power of technology. It calls it up for you so that you can budget wise. But if we save salaries, let's just say we budgeted 5,000, and maybe this month I'm going to get 5,500, but you add. And if you look here, let's just update this to November so we can see our budget for November. You see that our total budget has now been updated to 5,500. We've not got any income, that's it. So we are good with that. Then if you have any other income, let's just say we're expecting, maybe I did some side hustle. I'm going to do some side hustle. I'm just going to budget 1,000 for it. I'm going to add. Once I add, it updates to 6,500. And you can see your side hustle income here, 5,000. You can edit this budget or you can just remove it. If you want to edit the budget, just tap on edit and say, you know what, you come back to the amount and say, it's actually going to be 1,200. Update. And then your budget updates to 1,200 for side hustle. And that's it with our income. Let's go to expense and see what we can do with our expense budget. If I tap on add, this is November. You can decide to budget for December now. If I want to budget for December now, I can just tap on this and change this to December. Okay? But it just pre-fills the current month, but you can always go back and change it. What you cannot do is cannot go back and budget for October because October is gone. You cannot budget for September again because it's done. You've already spent money for those. So no need to budget for that. So you can budget for future months ahead of time. Just tap on that and select what month you want. Okay. So, but we are budgeting for November. If you want to budget for expenses, you just switch this tab to expense. If I tap on expense, it gives you all the expense categories, savings goals. Now, savings is important. We put it here as number one because sometimes it's important for you to say, this is how much I'm going to save first. Because some people wait until they're spending and then whatever that is left is what they will save. Sometimes nothing is left. If you keep spending and hoping that something will be left, something might not be left. So, but if you say this month, I'm going to save 1,000 out of my income, budget for that so that once you get paid, you take that 1,000 and put it in your savings account. Then whatever that is left in your spend account is what you continue to spend. That's the strategy that you can use to make sure that you're saving money every month. Okay. So if you want to save, let's try savings goals. Now, here's the interesting thing. Savings goal is a different module. It's where you create financial goals. I have created one savings goal, which is trip to vacation, right? Trip to Vegas as my savings goal. If I don't have any savings goal, I can create a new one, right? But for now, there's a section where you can create savings goals. But I have a trip to Vegas. I saved $450 in October. How much am I going to save towards this in November? I'm just going to say I'm going to save $500. I'm going to add. Now I have my budget for savings goals. You can have multiple goals, what you want to achieve. It can be for Christmas. It can be for tuition. Whatever it is that you want to achieve, create a goal for that. Then what other expenses do you have? This is your magic button, the plus sign here. Tap on it. Same November expense. Let's actually go to housing. You know what? Let's go to shopping. And if you look here, you would see that you have, I know this is holiday and we are buying gifts, right? If you go to other living expenses, we have donation and gifts, childcare, allowance, bank fees, pet care, and then other. One interesting thing about this app is that every category has an order. And within that order, there's, if we try to capture as much categories as possible, but if there's any category that you don't see here, just choose order. And when you go to order, you can customize it, choose any icon, choose any color you want, and just personalize it to you. But right now, for your donation and gift, assuming that in our budget worksheet, that the total of the gifts that we plan to give this month, we plan to buy in November, is let's say 1,000. I'm just gonna say plus donations. You go to church, you make donations, right? Or gifts. Those count as well. Whatever donations you make to nonprofit, give to people, all those things you give out of charity. This is your budget for it. And in October, I spent nothing. Lucy spent nothing in October. So I'm just gonna type 1,000 as my budget in November and add. And once I add it, you will see my budget for other living expenses has increased. And assuming you have something else in order, you can add other. If I go to my other living expenses and I see, okay, I have childcare, or maybe I have allowance or support. Maybe I have a child, a teenager that I always give support to, or maybe there's someone else I support, right? You can add that. Or maybe I have a pet. Don't forget your pet, people. I just say I am budgeting, let's just say $100 for the pet. Pet gotta spend the holidays as well. Or maybe a vet, doctor, and any of that. You just budget that. And when you go to your other living expenses budget, you can tap on this and it's going to give you the breakdown. What makes up your order? It's your donation and gift and it's your pet care. Any questions on this? On budgeting with WealthyGen? There's a lot of things depending on what expense categories you have. You can always budget for that. Right now we have two. You can also go to your shopping, which is good thing, a big thing that we do in the holidays. If I go to shopping, you will see your groceries, clothing and fashion, grooming, hair, salon, cosmetics, games, toys, gadgets, and other. Okay, so let's just do groceries here because that's what people do. Groceries is one of the key things you can't forget in shopping, right? Let's just say $500 for the holidays. It's telling me that in October I spent $240. So that's going to tell me, okay, if I spend $240 in October, in November, is anything that's I'm gonna do differently? Maybe I'm expecting guests, or maybe if nothing changes, I can say, you know what, let's do $250 in November. But come December, you might have a lot of things happening. You can bump up your budget for groceries. But let's just say nothing is going to really change much in November, unless I'm buying groceries for the holidays. But for your groceries that might be perishable, it might be too early to shop for Christmas in November. So I'm just going to say, let's do $250 for November. And I'm going to add. Then I have my shopping budget. There are multiple things you can add. It can be groceries, it can be fashion, whatever it is, it goes under your shopping. And once you tap on it, it shows you the breakdown. And it's showing you, once you start tracking your expenses, and next month we are really going to walk through how you track and how you actually spend to make sure that you do not go over your budget. We are going to cover those strategies to be a smart shopper that we want to be, because all of these things affect our our bottom line, our finances. Not enough to just create budgets. It's another strategy to stick to your budget or even do better than your budget and track it and see how the meaningful information you can get out of it. So it's going to show you, if you track your expenses, it's going to show you the actuals, the budget, and the remaining amount so that you can be on the checkout line. Okay, you can be on the checkout line and say, you know what, my budget, I'm shopping for groceries. Oh, I've not spent money for my groceries. You always look up here or down here. If you have multiple things, you can say, oh, I have $50 left for here. It's a decision you can make quickly while you are in the shopping mall, right? While you're even on the checkout line. So that's the essence of technology, because you always have your phone. It's going to help you make informed decisions. All right, so I'm going to stop here and see if anybody has any questions. So if you scroll down now that we have our budget, you can see in the dashboard, our budget summary has been updated. So without going deeper into the budget module, I can see, oh, my budget for November is $1,850. So far, it will update as I add more budgetary items, but this is what makes up, the first three things or categories that make up my budget. And so far, expenses, I have 500 in expense. I don't have any income recorded in actual yet, but I have it in my budget. Okay. Any questions from anyone? Comments? Please feel free to unmute yourself and speak. We are coming to the end of this session, so I want to make sure that I capture any question whatsoever you may have. Okay, so if there are no questions, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and go back to our last slide. But please feel free to, if you think of any question or comment, feel free to let me know. Okay, please tell me when you can see my screen. Okay, so right here, this is all we have. And I want to thank you all for joining us today to talk about spending, planning, and budgeting for the holidays. And I think it's really important that we take advantage of this time that we have now. We have 50 shopping days left to really sit down and plan what our spending will look like for the holidays, what we expect out of this holiday, the gifts we are going to give, and all of that. So I want to thank you for allowing me the time to share this with you. I'm passionate about doing this, and I'm passionate about seeing all of us succeed financially. And I think the key to achieving that is planning. And that's why this topic is important. Start ahead, start now to plan. Okay. So thank you very much. I will let you all, if you have any questions before we close, please feel free to let me know. Now, this is my contact information, okay? Thank you. Thank you so much. This is my contact information. We are on social media. Follow us on Instagram. Our handle is WealthyGen1, okay? And then our website is www.wealthygen.org. We have these sessions every month, every first Saturday of the month. Same Zoom. If you have the flyer for today, you can even reuse it. But the only thing that changes is the topic. Topic is new every month. Same Zoom information. You don't have to register, just jump on Zoom and we will be here. If it's one person, trust me, we are going to be here. That session will go on. So even if you come, it's just you, trust me, the session will go on. Okay, so that's the philosophy we are going with. Yeah, we empower people one person at a time. So you don't have to have wait until we have crowd for you to do that. One person that you empowered, you've empowered that person and their family, because that person has acquired the knowledge that they can pass on to other people around them. So yes, please feel free to join us and invite your friends as well. If you want to send me an email directly, please use this, drcharity@wealthygen.org. It's my personal email. I will read it. This is our phone number. We do WhatsApp as well. So if you have questions, send it to that WhatsApp. We will respond to you. So this is our phone number. It's on WhatsApp as well. Okay, so thank you very much. I appreciate your time today. Thank you for today's session. I appreciate you. So let me know. Feel free to drop. I think the session is over. But if you have last minute question, yes, I got you. Put it on here. See you next month. Yes, I'll see you all next month.